Good evening, everyone. Scott.
Get the door.
Good evening, everyone. It's 6 o'clock and we're going to go into executive session. I will entertain a motion. Dr. Stiles. Dr. Stiles. And to receive Thank you, Dr. Stiles. Is there a second? Okay, there's a second by Mrs. Morrison Fair. Any questions? All in favor, please address by saying aye. All opposed, and the motion carries. Before we get started, one of our board members has requested a point of order. She would like to address, I don't know what. So I don't know. She just asked if she could have the floor before we start the meeting. And I said, no. And then she said, why? And I said, no. But
so don't make me cause trouble.
Yeah, and I don't want any trouble. We'd have to get security in here.
So, Madam Chair, I just wanted to take a minute before we start the meeting to give you a little token appreciation from the rest of the board members. You've served us as chair for the last 2 years, and you did a lot of preparation to end up in that seat. And who knew that when you sat in that seat that you were going to be facing what clearly no one has ever seen in the history of Greenville County schools. So, your tenacity, your ability to keep trying to navigate and pivot and move and deal with we all had personal things, right? We all had family issues and we all had other things we're dealing with, but you sticking in there and sticking with it and being committed to the board and moving us forward and working closely with the superintendent to make things happen is really appreciated. You did a great job of navigating us, bringing new board members on. So just a small token of appreciation from us for the service over the last 2 years.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. But the reason I ran was to make sure that I was prepared for the element of surprise. Having a law enforcement background, you always prepare for the element of surprise. And we certainly were surprised. But, we moved forward and we tried different things. And we did the very best we could at every obstacle that we endured. And I just want you all to know that I appreciate you all. And it's always good when a team comes together and when you can depend on your colleagues and have respect for each and every one of them. So I thank you all for your support. I thank you, Dr. Royster, for all that you've done and all the many meetings that we have had almost on a daily or at least 3 or 4 times a week and on weekends. And I appreciate you always answering my calls, no matter what time, whether it was midnight to 3 o'clock in the morning, and special call meeting here and special call meeting there, and the staff here at the district and our teachers and our bus drivers and everyone that brings something to the table. So I thank you all. I'm excited to move forward at 7 o'clock. And at that time, it's all about business. So let's move on. Everybody's got something to do, and we want to make sure that we accommodate you all. Well, welcome. We were in executive session, and we are out of the executive session with no action taken. And at this time, it's 7 o'clock. And I welcome everyone here tonight for our board meeting. At this time, it's June the 15th at 7, and I will ask Mr. Sailors if he, after Mr. Lewis gives the prayer, that Mr. Sailors leaves us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and for the time that you have given us, and please be with us and continue to bless us. Father, please be with those here tonight and grant us wisdom and empathy and patience. And please help us to continue to seek your will and follow your way. In God's name, amen.
States. Okay, well, the first item on the agenda is board elections. And I will tell you, my goal was to do exactly what I did 2 years ago. I started here and I wanted to finish up here. And I wanted everyone to have an opportunity to come to our board meetings instead of by Zooming in. So those that are on the floor elected to go down on the floor instead of sitting up here at the dais so that we could do social distancing. But with that being said, there's no particular reason why anyone's sitting down there and we're up here. I just want y'all to know that, but we're trying to get back to normalcy. And with that being said, we will now engage in the election of officers, and we will begin starting with the chair position. I have chosen not to run again. I think 2 years is good, and then you need to let someone else have an opportunity. And with that being said, the two people vying for chair is Roger Meek and Lisa Wells. We will vote on these alphabetically. And so now I will, all those in favor of Roger Meek, please raise your right hand. Okay, 6. All those in favor of Lisa Wells, raise your right hand. 6. Okay. So we have a tie, and we will vote again. So all those in favor of Roger Meek, please raise your right hand. Okay, 6. All those in favor of Lisa Wells, raise your right hand. Okay, so we are going to take a 10-minute recess. And I think we're going to step out into the other room. So if everyone would just take a 10-minute recess. Is there, Mr. Webb, is
Sure. As chairperson, certainly it is your discretion to have a recess, and
okay?
people can think and go from there.
Okay. So if everybody would just, we'll be back in 10 minutes. Don't leave us. We'll be back in 10. Okay. All right. We are going to vote again. And at this time, all those in favor for Roger Meek, please raise your right hand. 6 votes. All those in favor of Lisa? 6 votes. At this time, I'm going to ask the two candidates if they would speak and why they are wanting to run for board chair. So we'll go alphabetically, and I will ask Mr. Meek to go first.
Thank you. Here we are. I've been on the board for 26 years. I've been chairman 5 times, I believe, different times throughout the 25 years. I think I know the ins and outs pretty well of maneuvering through the board. The problems we have, no one's really faced what we've just come up with. We've got a lot of things that we will need to face in the future. I think my calming attitude, the way that I would handle the situations is a lot better than my opponent.
Ms. Wells?
For me, it's not about, politics. It's about leadership. And I've been chair before. I've been on the board 10 years. The 2 years I was chair, I was collaborative. I worked on things that I felt like were important long-term for the board. We did a lot of policy work. We dug into a lot of things that had been issues and I think made great strides and improvements. In the last 2 years, I've sat in this vice chair seat and done my best to support Linda as chair and be there when she needed me to help figure out what we needed to do next and try to kind of think ahead. There are things that as this came on, I was able to kind of say, oh, wait a minute, maybe we need to go ahead and come up with how are we going to have people vote if they can't be in the boardroom right before COVID. So I think I have a long sight. I have that recognition. I think coming into the next year, there are a lot of things that are going to be different because of COVID. I think we still have a lot of policy work to do. That's what drives the work of the district. That's what board trustees should be focused on. And I think there's a lot to be done there. I think we're going to have the mental health issues, figuring out how we're helping students, how we're moving students forward, the remediation. And that's something I feel like I have some vision and am collaborative so that I can bring all the needs of the board and the whole district to the forefront. Not that I have all the right ideas and all the knowledge, but I do like to collaborate and I do like to share the leadership and the vision for where we need to go as a board. So, I've been committed to this chair. I'm committed to making this district the best district it could be and being the best advocate that I could be. And I respect Roger Meek immensely. So I am not going to say that I'm going to be better. It's just different, right? It's the leader I want to be and the things that I want to help move forward is just different perhaps than what he wants to be. So, that's why I'm here. And that's why I'm, saying I'm willing to do this job.
All right, we will vote. All in favor of Mr. Meek, raise your right hand. Okay, so all those in favor of Ms. Wells, your right hand. It's 6-6. Mr. Webb, can you enlighten the situation?
By Robert's rules and your policy, it will take a majority vote to elect the position of chair and any officer position. And so according to Robert's rules, the board must continue to vote until there is a clear winner. A majority of the board supports one candidate.
Mr. Sailors?
Doug, is there a capability in the policy to reschedule this election to a later time?
I think there would, the mechanism and avenue to do that would be to suspend the policy, because the current policy has dates specific to this election this month and taking office in July. So it is possible, would take a 2/3 vote to do so, but that is a possibility.
I'm not advocating that done because 665 is 665. Whether we do it now or do it in August is probably going to remain the same. What are our options though?
There another option would be to, and again, I know it's not ideal, but to recess, ponder, think. That is about the only advice I can provide.
We do have the capability of suspending the election policy because it is a board policy related to the actions and activities needed and guidance of this board.
Correct.
Ms. Bush?
Postpone this to the end of the meeting.
finance. So we have a majority proposal to get the election to the end of tonight's meeting, so that those kind of deliberations that if people wanted to watch sausage being made, they could stay and join us. But those people that came to speak forward and for other reasons, that out of respect for their time.
I think without objection, the chair could certainly make that decision.
So with unanimous consent, the board chair could move this to the last item on the agenda.
Yes, sir.
Make a motion to, yes.
Madam Chair, I tell you what, here's what I'm gonna say. Somebody asked me recently about, how the board stuff had gone and 10 years, kind of what was that like? And I was reminded that when I ran for this seat, I had never stepped into this boardroom. And I didn't know these board members, and I didn't know much about the district. What I knew is that I felt like I wanted to represent my community and I wanted to make a difference. And over the last 10 years, as maybe evidenced by this vote, I ask some questions that make people uncomfortable, and I push boundaries that some people don't like. Sometimes it serves me well. When I was chairman for 2 years, and people begged me to run for the third year, run another year. And sometimes it doesn't, because people get uncomfortable when you ask hard questions. But I know that I have till November of 2022 to make a difference in my community. And I desired to do it from the chairman seat because I felt like I could do that well, but I don't have to do it from the chairman seat. And there's a little bit of liberation that comes when you're not in either one of these seats. I don't have to be on the side, I don't have to be in the middle. I can pick a side. And I did have one board member say, maybe more often you need to pick your side. So, Madam Chairman, I'm going to withdraw my name from consideration for the chairman. And what I'm going to say is, in doing that, I still intend to push for all the things that I believe we need to focus on and we need to do in this district for the coming year. And I hope that the chairman is going to pay credence to that. But if he doesn't, I guess in the seat I'll be sitting in, I'll have the right to make as much noise as I desire. So there you go. So we'll have all in favor of Mr. Meek, raise your right hand. All opposed? All in favor of Ms. Wells, raise your right hand. Oh, we don't do that. So congratulations, Mr. Meek. You're now board chair. Yes, Mr. Meek.
I'd like to thank Ms. Wells. I've respected Ms. Wells for the past 10 years. Normally, we always agree to disagree on a lot of items, and we do that in the spirit of making sausage, as Ms. Bush says. And it usually turns out well, and I appreciate it, Ms. Wells, and we just differ on this tonight. Thank you. Thank everyone else.
All right, we're going to move on to vice chair. Debbie Bush and Derek Lewis are running. All those in favor, and we'll go by alphabetically. All in favor of Debbie Bush, please raise your right hand. Okay, 7. All in favor of Mr. Lewis, raise your right hand. And one abstention. 4 votes. So congratulations, Ms. Bush, as vice chair. And Carolyn, yours is going to be, Dr. Stiles, sorry, my apologies, please. Yours is going to be quite easy because you have no opposition. So this is all in favor of Dr. Stiles, please raise your right hand. Unanimously, all opposed. Thank you, Dr. Stiles. So your board chair is Mr. Meek, vice chair is Ms. Bush, and secretary is Dr. Stiles. So with that being said, we will now move forward to the adoption of consent calendar. Entertain a motion.
Motion to adopt.
And is there a second?
Second motion.
Mr. Motion was made by Mr. Sudduth, seconded by Mr. Sailors. All in favor, please please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, and adoption calendar has been approved. Appearance of two visitors. We have two visitors tonight. And with that being said, I'm going to read you, and I can call Susanna Saravia. Did I say that right? Oh, good. If you would just come to the podium at the end of the dais, I'm going to read this. Welcome to those who have signed up to speak tonight before the Board of Trustees. And thank you for your interest in Greenville County Schools. Before we begin, let me remind everyone of the following procedures. As each speaker's name is called, which I have just called your name, you will proceed to the podium at the end of the board dais, where there is a microphone and a light system. Each speaker has up to 3 minutes to speak to the board. The light system will be green for the first 2 minutes and will turn yellow when 1 minute remains on the speaker's allotted time. In keeping with board policy KCA, abusive language or personal attacks aimed at students or staff members will not be permitted. All speakers are expected to behave in an orderly and respectful manner. The board will not engage in discussion with the speaker or respond to the comments. The superintendent will designate a member of the staff to respond to each speaker in an appropriate and timely manner. And Susanna, Mr. Lewis will be keeping your 3 minutes. And so whenever you are ready, you may begin.
Right, thank you very much. My name is Susana Saravia, and I'm a grandmother. And I'm looking forward one day to bring my grandchildren to school. And why I'm here today is that I come from a family that is Russian Ukrainian, and I was born in Argentina. And our countries, as you know, they are socialist, they're communist, and your freedom and your opinions don't matter. You have to listen what they say. They become the ones that tell you what to do and not to do. So I'm going to read to you something about the Bible, because I always look at the Bible as the best teacher, that is Jesus Christ. And he says, they began to question among themselves, which of them it might be, which of them will be the greater. So there was a dispute among them, and Jesus said to them, the kings of the Gentiles lord it over them, but those who exercise authority over them call themselves benefactors. But you are not like that. Instead, the greatest among you should be like the youngest, and the one who rules like the one who serves. For who is greater, the one who sits, the one who is at the table, or the one who serves? Which one is greater, the one who sits at the table or the one who serves? It is not the one who is at the table, but I am among you as the one who serves. Jesus, being the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, he decided to come humbly and serve us. And he expects us to serve the same way to the students, to the parents, to everyone. So what I'm trying to say, when you have children coming here to the school, you are there to prepare them for a future. You're there to guard their life. Parents entrust you, their children, that you will bring them not unwise, that they will know when someone is trying to lie to you. They will be critical thinkers, that they will know what is right from wrong, that they will be able to defend themselves. Well, let me tell you, with this COVID vaccine and all this stuff that is going on, it gave me a lot to think because I started paying attention at what people were doing. And I started to go to stores and I will ask them, that tell them, look, I'm not going to wear a mask. Well, I was irresponsible? No. Why will somebody put something and gag me and
Mr. Robbie, your 3 minutes is up. Sorry.
okay, I'm just telling you, look at the vaccines, what they do. I'm asking you because your life is on the line as well as all of us. So pay attention. Don't just listen to every one side of the story.
Yes.
Be like Solomon.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Sarah Mag? Sarah, whenever you're ready, whenever you begin, Mr. Lewis will start your time.
I'm ready now. Well, okay, so this whole vaccination clinics, I'm really appalled by the push that's going on to all the children, to the extent of setting up this pop-up clinics on school premises with an experimental jab. Now, remember Fauci said last year, these vaccines are only for the elderly because the C19 only affects them and not kids. And then out of nowhere, here comes this variant from UK, which is fake, by the way, that primarily affects kids. And so now they're saying, let's vaccinate all the kids, 12 to 17 years old. Oh, and guess what? They don't need parental consent. Since when has that ever happened? This is a medical treatment. I'm a nurse, so I know that this is a medical treatment that requires parental consent. Kids 0 to 19 years have a 0.0003% infection fatality ratio with a 99.98% recovery rate from the C19 without any treatment. Dr. Zelenko, who treated everybody with HCQ, it's a long hydrochloroquine, calls his trial vaccine mandate a coercive human experimentation, crimes against humanity. Okay, so what is an actual traditional vaccine? A traditional real vaccine like a flu, what they do is they take a little bit of the weakened virus or the killed virus and they put it in you, and then that creates the immunity. And so when your body sees it, it creates that, it creates that immunity to that pathogen. Okay, now that is a real virus. That's a real vaccine. This is not. This is a genetic modification therapy. It's an mRNA, which is a messenger RNA that actually changes your DNA, and it tells it to produce spike proteins, which actually travels all over your body, destroying every part of your organ. And then it settles in the ovaries. It settles in the lymph nodes. It settles in the bone marrow, causing all kinds of issues and problems. We've already seen that in kids. We have seen girls having bleeding problems. We have seen infertility problems and boys and, sterility. We have seen even recently, 17-year-old, 18-year-old boys being admitted to the hospital because of myocarditis, heart inflammation. Now, tell me if that is okay to put all this junk into a child's body. Y'all have kids, y'all have grandkids. If you know the side effects and how bad it is, because this thing has never been, they did these trials a long time ago on animals, and all the animals died. The mRNA, messenger RNA animals died. All of them died. So they ditched it. And now they bring it back, and we are the experiments now? They're experimenting on us. And so when we die, they don't care when we die. So here's the VAERS reports, okay, which is the
Ms. Mag,
vaccination.
you're out of time. Sorry.
Vaccination accident event report system says this is only 1 to 2% of reported cases, and they are 3 to 4 months behind. 5,888 deaths so far. Now that's underreported. Possibly it could be 20,000. 19,570. 19,597.
Sarah, I would love if you could just give us that information. I will read that.
Okay.
Your time is up, but it is great information, and we appreciate you speaking tonight. We appreciate both speakers. Thank you. Thank you. 5.01 Superintendents Report.
For the superintendent's report tonight, first we'd like to introduce some new appointments based on the board's earlier action. First, like to introduce our new Director of Psychological Services. He is certainly not new to the district. Has been with us more than 20 years and has served in his predecessor's absence on a number of occasions. Jason Mullis, congratulations on your new appointment as Director of Psychological Services. And I believe you have, I guess, a guest with you tonight. Your new immediate supervisor, Assistant Superintendent for Special Ed Services, Tracy Hogan. Jason, congratulations. Welcome to your new leadership role. We're delighted to see you move into that position of responsibility. Next, our interim director of virtual programs, Ken Ellis. Ken has been serving in an interim role already in the virtual program, but his normal, usual assignment is in HR as a recruiter, but he has an extensive background at school level, including administrative experience there. So Ken, congratulations on your interim appointment as Director of Virtual Programs for the district. And Tara Dean, who will be his immediate supervisor, is with him here tonight. Congratulations, Ken. Now, as we begin with assistant principals, the first one is actually an assistant director, Nicole Michael, the new assistant director at the Fine Arts Center. Nicole, congratulations. Welcome to your new role there. Now, you have a guest with you.
This is my husband, Kevin, and he is also a Greenville County educator.
Very good. Welcome to you tonight as well. Congratulations on your new role. Stephanie Duncan. Stephanie is currently in AA, but is transferring and being promoted to Montague Elementary School as their new assistant principal. And you have a guest with you, and a guest, I guess it doesn't need an introduction on the other side there, your new principal.
This is my husband, Kevin Duncan, and he's the new assistant principal at Northwood Middle School as well. And then this, he's going to be
Delighted to have both of you moving into those leadership roles. Our next introduction, new assistant principal at Sevier Middle, Brian Falls.
We're out of work, sorry.
All right, where's Brian Skipper, who took Brian Sherman's place, supposed to be in charge of the order that now he seems to have disappeared.
He did.
All right.
And there he goes again.
So Brian Falls, who is now the newly appointed assistant principal at Sevier Middle. Brian, congratulations on your new appointment. We look forward to having you in that leadership role.
Who's he have with him?
You have with you your spouse, I believe.
She's at Blue Ridge Middle School.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you for being here as well.
I'm back.
Brianna Falvey.
Mr. Elmont.
Yes, but what happened to Brianna Falvey? Is she not here?
Yes, sir. She's there. Next.
Oh, okay. Corey Ellenbach, Stone Academy. Corey, congratulations. And you have with you as well.
This is our youngest daughter, Kayla.
Welcome to you as well. Corey, congratulations on your new appointment. We'll look forward to having you in that leadership role. Now do we have Brianna?
It's Brianna.
Okay, good. So I messed this up, Brian. Is that what you're saying? That's what Rashad said. I see him in the very back there. Brianna Falvey, who is now the newly appointed assistant principal for Northwest Middle School. Brianna, congratulations. Forward to having you in that leadership role. Hunter McClure, Cherrydale Elementary. Hunter, congratulations on your appointment to this new role. We're glad to have you here tonight, and I believe you have a guest with you as well.
Yes, sir. This is Kristen, my wife. She's also an ESOL teacher at North Charlotte.
Very good. Welcome to you as well. Congratulations on the new role. Michelle McCoy, who is the new assistant principal at Crestview Elementary. Michelle, congratulations on your new job and your move into that leadership role. And you have with you
My mother.
Yay.
Next up, April Reese, who is the newly appointed assistant principal at Hillcrest High School. Congratulations, April. Welcome. And you have with you, I assume not another Greenville County Schools employee, but perhaps a student.
Very much so, yes. He'll be joining me at Hillcrest.
Oh, well, very good. Congratulations to both of you. And our last introduction, Kimberly Starks, newly appointed assistant principal, Carolina High. Kimberly, congratulations on your new leadership role. We look forward to having you in that position, and welcome here tonight, and glad to have you in that role. In the interest of time, that will conclude the superintendent's report for this evening.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Boyster. And we will move to 6.01, naming of Brook Glen Elementary School Gymnasium. Recommend a motion, needing no second, to approve the naming of the gymnasium of Brook Glen School for Cindy Mattis Dehart. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please address by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, and the motion carries. 6.02, Duke Energy Carolinas LLC easement at Robert E. Cashin Elementary School. The recommended motion coming from the Committee of the Whole needs no second, to approve a utility easement as requested of Duke Energy Carolinas LLC at Robert E. Cashin Elementary. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please address by saying aye.
Aye.
And the motion carries. 6.03, property acquisition for Stone Academy. Recommend a motion from the administration to approve the purchase of a 0.51 acre parcel adjacent to Stone Academy.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, sir, Mr. Sailors.
I move to approve the purchase of a 0.51 acre parcel adjacent to Stone Academy.
There's a second. Second by Ms. Glenda Morrison Fair. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please address by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. I will, since the motion has carried, the partial has been priced and accepted as the sale at $675,000. Thank you so much. 6.04, physical education exemption. Yes, Ms. Bush. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sutton. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please address by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, and the motion carries. 6.05 FY 22 general obligation bonds resolution.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, sir, Mr. Sailors.
I move to approve the fiscal year 2022 general obligation bonds resolution.
Sailors, motion and second by Ms. Bush. Any questions? All in favor, please address by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, and the motion carries. 6.06 FY 22 debt service budget.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, sir, Mr. Sailors.
I move to approve the fiscal year.
The FY,
Yeah. I move to approve the fiscal year 22 best debt service budget.
will entertain a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Sutton.
Wait a minute.
Any questions? Wait a minute, to approve the FY 22 debt service budget.
Madam Chairman, I make the motion to approve the fiscal 22 debt service budget.
And it was Mr. Sutton, will you second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Hearing none. All in favor, please address by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, and the motion carries. 6.07 FY22 Best Debt Service Budget. I will entertain a motion to approve the FY22 Best Debt Service Budget. Mr. Meek,
Madam Chairman, make a motion to approve the fiscal year 22 best debt service budget.
Second.
it was seconded by Mr. Sudduth. Is there a question, Mr. Lewis?
Dr. Worcester, the debt service budget has us paying off the best program when?
On December 29, that's correct, Ms. Craft?
December 1st, 2020.
2029. And
2028?
December 1st, 2028.
It's the FY29 fiscal year.
And what will be the amount of money that we're currently putting annually into the debt service that will be available for us for construction after that?
The amount varies annually. I think that what that frees up is
About $78 million.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please address by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, and the motion carries. 6.08 FY22 Building Fund Budget. I would entertain a motion to approve the FY22 Building Fund, yes, budget. Mr. Sailors,
I move to approve the fiscal year 22 building fund budget.
Second.
second by Mr. Sudduth. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please address by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, and the motion carries. 6.09 FY22 Food and Nutrition Services Budget. Recommend a motion from the administration.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, sir, Mr. Sailors.
I move to approve the fiscal year 22 food and nutrition services budget.
Second.
A second by Ms. Morrison Fair. Questions, Mr. Lewis?
Mr. Urban, in FY21, the food nutrition budget included universal breakfast and lunch for students that we were able to provide because of federal funds that we received. Do we intend to extend that program through the summer of this year?
Was on. So the federal government has continued that through this summer and through next school year as well, and anticipated for next summer, but not sure yet.
So currently the plan would be through the end of the end of the 2022 school year.
That's correct.
That universal breakfast and lunch will be available for all students in the district.
That's correct.
When we provided that this year, what was the economic impact to the district? Were we able to cover the cost that we had budgeted for that program, or was there an impact to us?
So obviously it was a strange year with not having as many students in session at a time. Once the reimbursement for the universal free meals did come in play, we were able to recover a significant amount of money.
And some of our budget, I know, comes from auxiliary sales of items that aren't covered, but the general cost of what the USDA is providing to us covers the cost for providing that universal breakfast lunch. We didn't take a hit on that.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Wells?
Mr. Urban, help me understand, our proposed budget for the USDA reimbursement is at 40 million. Original budget in 2021 was 25 million. So did we make an adjustment for the number of meals we were serving because of virtual students? Is that? Well, the proposed budget that we have, the difference in the budget from 2021 and 21-22 is significant for the reimbursement piece. So 25 million versus 40 million.
The major difference with that is that students for all students also submit.
Okay, so we used fund balance this past year to kind of fill a hole we had, but if I'm reading this right, we're showing in excess of 7,440,000 in this coming year is what we're projecting. Okay, and is that, Dr. Royce, remind me, that money, do we transfer money from that into the long-range facilities plan or into that program to make sure we're able to pay for replacement equipment, or do we pay that out of the food and nutrition budget?
I think we charge that back to food and nutrition budget. Wouldn't transfer it to building fund, but it covers replacement of equipment. It also covered the equipment in Fountain Inn High School, so new installed equipment, not built into the building, but new installed equipment. And the project at Rupert Mountain Science Center, it covered the kitchen equipment there. So we're at a point now fiscally sound enough not only to use it for cyclical replacement of food service equipment, but also to offset the cost of new construction kitchen equipment.
Okay. So that 7 million, whatever our fund balance is, it sits there in that account until we actually have a payment we need to make on replacement, and then we're just charging back to that.
And the other thing that benefited our general fund budget, you may recall that from the earlier meeting where we amended the general fund budget. One of the things that we amended was revenue as far as being able to take indirect cost, an increased amount of indirect cost. So the increased revenue in the food service allows you to move an increased amount of indirect cost as well.
We transitioned that. We've topped out in terms of what we can take from that fund for indirect costs, right? Because it seems like we transitioned into that amount. So
yes, I believe we're at the max right now. We could go up and then that's probably, that 7.1 is probably a pretty conservative revenue estimate. This additional year of free meal service, really, we're probably sitting at about 2 million short of what we should be, Joe. Is that about right? On this year, after July 1, but after the school year starts, we'll quickly have covered that. So we still have fund balance sitting over here. We ran this year about 2 million short because of we had 20-something thousand students not coming to school for meals. Plus, we had a dramatic reduction in a la carte sales. So we're gonna quickly regain that lost ground and some more.
So this account and the fiscal responsibility we're taking, kind of managing the funds, the reimbursements we're getting. I guess we're still gonna be looking for creative ways to leverage that and offset other district.
Yes, any way we can think of
right,
to reduce cost somewhere else. And just as a side note, again, we are not recommending any increase in meal cost, even though there is this year, theoretically, no paid straight out meal. We've not increased meal cost in, Joe, 3 years now, 5 years.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else? I'd just like to commend you on all the great things y'all do in your area, and it begins at the top. So thank you, Joe. That being said, that's it. We don't have anything.
Except the special revenue budgets, which would be 6.10.
Okay, 6.10. Recommended motion from the administration to accept the FY22 special revenue budget. Mr. Sailors. Anybody raise their hand?
Point of.
We didn't vote on 09.
We didn't vote on it, Joe. My apology. I think I was looking at the clock and I was thinking, signing something. Okay, so to approve the FY22 food and nutrition services budget, entertain a motion. And we already discussed it. So all in favor, please address by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Now we'll get to.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to accept fiscal year 22 special revenue budgets.
Second. Motion made by Mr. Saylor, second by Mr. Sutter. Any discussion? Mr. Lewis.
Madam Chairman, because of possible conflict of interest, let the record show that I recuse myself from voting on this item.
Okay. Ms. Goodwin-Caldwell.
Yes, Dr. Royster, on
Yes,
the Title I funds is that going down every year? I see where it's going down from 21 to 20.
It has. Now, this reflects, as you know, the federal fiscal year does not align with ours. There is some reason to believe, Randall was here, she out in the lobby. I think there's good reason to believe the feds may be going to put more money in Title I. So this is based on what we know at this point. But you are correct. Over time, that amount has diminished.
So do we still have the same amount of Title I schools since it's been going down every year?
We have generally reduced by maybe one school in the last couple of years, Jeff.
On the number of schools, we still have a threshold that we just like we always did with we have the med. So a lot of times the school will go out and the school will come in based on that threshold, but we're still pretty much maintaining the same number that we've maintained years.
How many do we have now?
Ms. Harmon, you remember total Title I schools currently?
Currently, we have 18.
18?
Yes.
Is that still just elementary and middle?
Yes.
No high school? Okay. That's all I need to know. Thank you.
Anyone else? So we have a motion, we have a second, and are there any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please address by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and the motion carries. I would entertain any information from any of our board committees or liaisons. Does anyone have any reports? Mr. Sailors.
Just briefly, Madam Chairman, the ad hoc committee on the naming policy will receive a draft later this week for their consideration, and from there it'll come to the board.
Great. Thank you so much for chairing that, Mr. Sailors. Mr. Meek.
Madam Chairman, the audit committee will need to have a meeting early July, if you want to, or in August to chair who's going to see the chair on this committee for the next year. So I'll be contacting each of you that's on the committee to see when you want to meet, how urgent you want to meet.
Sir, I think early August would be preferable for me. I'd like to have a month off if I could.
I shall see.
I'm joking. Whenever is the majority can meet. Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, we will move on to 8.01 monthly finance report. Is there one? Ms. Stack?
Would certainly just answer any question you have.
I'm here.
This time on next year's budget, but
Right.
Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Stack? None. I'd like to thank the audience for staying throughout the meeting. Thank you for caring enough and seeing what really goes on. And we appreciate you. I will entertain, yes, ma'am. And there's a motion on the floor to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please address by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and the motion carries. And at this time, the meeting is over. Congratulations.